So the last video I told you I'm over 60 and working in retail. And a lot of you asked, how did that happen? What was the job search like? Well, here's what nobody tells you about looking for work at our age. These aren't complaints, they're just realities we need to understand, because once you see them clearly, you can actually navigate them a little bit better. I sent out over 200 applications. Let me say that again. 200 applications. I have 50 years of business experience. I built companies, managed teams, turned dirt into multi-million-dollar dream homes, and I've solved problems most people will never face in their life. And here's what I learned. Truth number one, your experience intimidates employers. They see your resume and they think overqualified, but that's code. What they're really thinking is one of four things. One, he'll leave the minute something better comes along, or he's going to want my job, or we can't afford someone at his level, or he's too set in his ways and we can't train him our way. Your experience, which should be your biggest asset, becomes a liability. They're not looking at what you can do for them. They're worried about what you might do to the organization. I had one interview where the hiring manager couldn't have been older than 35, kept asking me, "Are you really okay with this role?" 4 times, 4 different ways. What he was really asking was, "Are you going to make me look bad? Are you going to undermine me? Are you going to get bored in 3 months and leave?" I get it. I understand his concerns. But here's what he didn't see. I wasn't applying because I was desperate for any job. I was applying because I needed a job. There's a difference. So how do you navigate this? You have to address this head on. Apply for roles that you're genuinely interested in, not just anything. And in your cover letter, say something like, I know my experience might seem extensive for the role, but here's why I'm specifically interested. Show them you understand their concern. Take it off the table before they can even use it against you. But that's just the first truth. Truth number 2, age discrimination is real and it's invisible. They can't legally say you're too old, so they don't. Instead, you hear things like culture fit, or we're looking for someone who can grow with the company for long term. What they mean is you probably retire or die before we get our investment back. I had a Zoom interview once where everything seemed great rapport, good questions. They were nodding along. Then the guy says, "So what's your long-term plan here?" And I could see it in his eyes. He was calculating. This guy's 60 plus, maybe works 5 more years, maybe less. Is that worth training him? I didn't get a call back. So how do you navigate this? First, emphasize adaptability. Tell stories that show you're not stuck in the old ways. Talk about recent learning. Mention new skills you picked up along the way. Second, show your tech competency immediately. Have a clean, modern resume and be comfortable with video interviews. Don't fumble with technology. And third, if you're healthy and energetic, show it. I started standing during my video interviews, and it sounds weird, but it changes your energy. They can see you're not some tired old guy just coasting to retirement. You're fighting a perception, so you have to actively counter it. Truth number 3, your network is no longer available. Most of the people I knew in business, they're my age, which means they're either retired, they're not in hiring positions anymore, or they're facing the same challenges I am. I spent 20 years building relationships in my industry, maybe 30, and when I needed them, they couldn't help. Not because they didn't want to, because they didn't have the power anymore. The people in hiring positions now, they're 35 to 45, and I don't know them. LinkedIn connections from 10 years ago Don't matter if those people aren't active anymore. Industries have changed. The gatekeepers are different. I remember calling a few people I used to do business with, people who knew my work, who respected what I could do. And they'd say, Mark, I wish I could help, but I'm not in that world anymore. Or I retired 3 years ago, or something like the company restructured. The person you need to talk to is someone I've never met. So what do? You rebuild. You start connecting with younger professionals, not by asking for jobs, but maybe by offering mentorship or expertise, informational interviews. Hey, I'm trying to understand how the industry has changed. Can I buy you a coffee or pick your brain? Provide value first. Be the experienced person who helps them solve a problem, and they'll remember you when something opens up. It's humbling. I'm not going to lie, but it does work. Truth 4, the application process has changed completely. When I was last job hunting, applications went through human beings. That was many, many years ago. You could call and follow up. You could network your way to a conversation. Now it's all automated through applicant tracking systems. Your resume gets scanned by software before a human even sees it. And if you don't have the exact words from the job posting, you're filtered out and it never makes it to a human to even review. Doesn't matter what you can do. I would spend an hour crafting a thoughtful cover letter, tailoring my resume, explaining how my experience applied, and it would get rejected in seconds by the algorithm or AI automation agent. Then there's the personality test, the video introductions where you record yourself answering questions into a camera. Multiple rounds of interviews for entry-level positions. I applied for a customer service role once. This is after decades of business leadership, and they wanted 4 rounds of interview. 4 for a customer service role. First round, phone screen. Second round, video interview with recorded questions. Third round, panel interview with 3 people. And the fourth round, the culture fit interview with the team. Yeah, I didn't even apply for that job. So how do you navigate this? You learn the system. Use the exact keywords from the job posting in your resume, not paraphrased, the exact words. Take personality tests seriously. Research what they're looking for. Practice recording yourself on video. Get comfortable with it and accept that this is how it works now. You can be bitter about it or you can learn the game. Truth 5, they're not hiring experience, they're hiring affordability. This is the one that's hardest to accept, I guess. A younger coworker costs less. Their health insurance, cheaper. They expect lower salaries. They accept fewer benefits. And if the company figures they can train them for less than it costs to hire you, your 50 years of experience, the value you bring, the problems you could solve from day one, it doesn't matter if the spreadsheet says they can hire 2 junior people for what you cost. I remember one interview where it was going really well, actually, really well. The hiring manager said, you would be perfect for this. Then HR called me, wanted to know my salary history, and I could hear it in her voice when I told her. She was doing math, comparing what I'd make to what the role paid. I didn't get a call back. So how do you navigate that? Be flexible on your compensation within reason. Don't undervalue yourself, but don't price yourself out either. Emphasize the ROI you bring, how you'll reduce costs elsewhere, how your experience means less trial and error, fewer expensive mistakes. Consider contract or project work instead of full-time. Sometimes company will pay more for short-term expertise than they will for a permanent employee with benefits. And here's the big one. Build your own income streams, which is what this YouTube channel is. My plan B, because I can't control the market, but I can control what I build. This is why you build plan B. Look, here's what I finally figured out. You can spend years trying to convince employers to see your value, or you can create value on your own terms. This YouTube channel, this is me building something I control. not waiting for someone to give me permission, not hoping some 35-year-old HR manager sees past my age. I'm creating something where my experience is my asset, not a liability. Multiple income streams, that's the strategy. Maybe YouTube ad revenue, maybe consulting, maybe speaking, maybe courses. I don't know exactly what it'll look like yet, but I'm building it. Because depending entirely on traditional employment at our age, that's the risk I can't take anymore. I'm over 60, but I'm definitely not done building. When you're over 50, your experience can intimidate them. Age discrimination is real and it's invisible. Your network is outdated, the application process has changed completely, and they're hiring affordability, not experience. The truths are hard, but they're also empowering, because once you stop expecting the job market to be fair, you'll start finding actual opportunity. You'll stop waiting for permission. You stop thinking someone will save you. You save yourself. So let me ask you, which of these have you experienced? I know I'm not alone in this. Tell me in the comments. Let's figure this out together. All right, I hope this finds you well, and I'll see you in a few days.